Alright, let's cover a little bit more in depth on how to use motion properties. One of the first things that you want to be able to do is see the blue outline for motion. So go ahead and change your view to 10 or 25% or 50 depending on how much space you have. But you want to be able to make sure you can see the outer edges. If for some reason your stuff is not selected yet and you can see there's no blue outline, you want to highlight your clip and then come up to your effects control panel and click on motion. Now you can see the blue outline on the edge of the picture. When you're moving the stuff around, you can do several different things to adjust your position. If you click somewhere inside the bounding box here, do not click on the little crosshair here in the center because that is adjusting your center point. And if you move that, if you use your rotation, it'll affect how the image rotates, and we'll demonstrate that as well. So click anywhere in the bounding box, not on the crosshair, and you can drag the picture around such as this. You can bring it down to the bottom fourth, so it looks like that. And as you notice, you can see the numbers over here in position actually changed. So you can also type in numbers if you know the size of your footage. This is a 1280 by 720. So if I put in a 0 and I put in a second 0, it jumped it all the way up to the top left corner. And if you want to reset it as you don't like where you moved it to and you don't know your numbers, that's okay. You can come here and hit reset parameter and it will put your image back in the center. So like I said, with the crosshair, this is your center position, and this can be moved and utilized in different things such as rotation. So currently where it's at is its default, and if I come over to rotation, and I will make this a little bit bigger so you guys have a better time seeing the crosshair. Okay, so over here with rotation, you can see if I turn it to the positive number, it is going clockwise to the right. If I make it a negative number, it comes back counterclockwise to the left. And you can animate these points like I mentioned in the previous video. If you don't like what you did, you can hit reset. Alright, so we're going to move the crosshair this time. I'm going to actually pin it up here to the top left corner of the image. And this is going to tell me that this is the new center of the image. So when you come to rotation, you can see it's actually spinning it on that one corner. It gives you a different look, and depending on what you need your footage to do, that might be something you'd want to utilize. But most of the time, you would just want to leave your crosshair in the center here. And under motion, you have scale. So I had talked about in the previous video creating some sort of motion. This here is not a still, but let me go ahead and make it a still so you can kind of have a better idea of what I meant. So if you right click on this, you can also choose to get one single frame and it would run the duration of your clip. So I chose frame hold option and I'm on this frame. I like it. I'm going to say okay. So now you can see when I scrub across, you're not seeing any of that movement anymore. And one way you could animate this if it was a still photo is we can come here to the beginning and we are going to start with 100% on the scale, and then we're going to come actually to the end of the clip. So it looks like it was continuously in motion. We're going to go up to 120. Usually don't recommend pushing past 120, 125 at most, because if your footage is not a very good quality or it's too small, pushing it further will make it grainy or noisy looking, which reduces the quality of the image. But notice I've set keyframes just like the previous video mentioned. They're just your basic ones. I could put it ease in or ease out to slow the motion as it was coming to the end, but let's play it first and see what we have. So 120 wasn't too much, it's moving nice and slow, and it gave us just enough to make it feel like that was no longer just a still image. So that is something else you can do with your motion. Besides rotation and scale, you have position. One of the other things that you can do, you can actually, there's a check mark here for uniform scale, and this here will control your scale height and scale width separately. So basically this makes stuff look like it might have a squished head, it's too tall, too wide. It's a way to distort the footage. So see, we can make the camera much wider if I'm adjusting just the width instead of the height. Most of the time I do not work with this unchecked. I like to leave it alone. But there are a few rare occasions that you need this, and maybe like a cartoon drawing where you're trying to make it longer, it would be a good option for. Okay, so we can reset all of that. And I can clear out these if I want. And re-click uniform scale. So now the picture is still just a plain old still looking. But spend some time, mess with some of these settings, mess with some of your videos, give this some stuff a look. It's actually pretty cool, and it can make and enhance your editing a lot. We'll continue on with some additional information next video.